Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to just run you through a couple of things that I learned after working with the Herbcrafter's Tarot pretty much exclusively for an entire year. So I got the Herbcrafter's Tarot March 13th of 2023. No, that is completely wrong. I got the Herbcrafter's Tarot March 13th of 2022 and have been using it ever since. It's been true love. So here's some things that I learned while using the deck. I'm just going to flip through a little bit while I talk to you about this. The first thing that I learned is that soul decks, I don't really care for that term very much, but it is a thing. I honestly hesitated getting this deck and had been admiring it since it came out, but for some reason I just stopped myself from getting it a couple of times because I was like, do I really want this? Do I need another tarot deck? And I had really thought that I was happy with what I had, and then I got this deck and it's been true love ever since. So yes, I still use other decks occasionally, and for sure I use oracle decks all the time. But I really don't find myself drawn to using other tarot decks. This is the only one that I really feel like I need. I think that the cards and the interpretations and the way the changes that are made in this deck really make it perfect for me. For example, the court cards. Through this year, I learned that I don't really enjoy the hierarchy of king and queen. And I understand that that's a traditional thing, but tradition isn't everything all the time. And I like having, for the most part, non-gendered hierarchy things. So you don't have mother and father in this deck. For the courts, you have mother, which would be that nurturing energy, and then you have healer. And I like that. I like the change that they made. I also like the change that judgment became awakening. I really like that they kind of strayed away from the traditional Christian imagery and word, just because that is never something that I was connected to or part of. So it is fitting that it's not in my deck. Another thing that I learned is that you can physically clean tarot decks. I didn't realize how dirty decks can get and how much dirt they can just acquire from use. And I've physically cleaned this deck multiple times since getting it. I will take a wet paper towel that I dip in. I spray some cleansing spray into the water, and then I just dip the water in. I rub along the edges, and the last time, which was near the anniversary of getting the deck, I actually even took a wet paper towel and rubbed along the whole border, because I don't know if you can see, but it does get a little dirty, and that bothered me so much, and I just thought that I was gonna have to scrape it off every time. But if you gently have a gentle layer of water and cleanse it a little bit, and then just leave the card separated out to dry, it's actually fine, and it works perfect. So tarot decks can get dirty, but they also can be cleaned. I also learned how to really dive into the imagery, and I've done it once on YouTube with the pathworking, and I just feel like this deck is so magically potent for me that I can jump into the cards and picture kind of the life moving around on the sides of the card, where just the image, you kind of are seeing a picture, and then you can step through the border of the picture to the whole world. And I feel like I could do that with all of the cards in this deck specifically. I really didn't do it very much. I tried it with the Elemental Power Tarot, just with the majors, because the minors are pips, and I really couldn't get anything from them by trying to dive into that. But for all of these, I can picture the world around the cards, which is really powerful for me. Another thing is the amount of different interpretations I've gotten from these cards. And they're the same images I see all the time, but I can get different messages from them, which is so interesting to me, because how does that happen? How does our brain pick out a specific thing to notice for that specific time? So for this, usually I would look at the feathers and think of kind of the flight, but you can also, like most recently I looked at the writing, and this card told me to do some journaling and get back to writing and all of that stuff. So you can get so much from these cards and from the imagery. I also realized that it's okay for tarot decks to get little nicks and dings in them. That's something that I learned this year, is that my cards are always going to get worn. And I think that I'm slowly becoming okay with that. It's something that I'm still working through, but I actually am really enjoying the changes that I'm seeing come to my deck, because it's not neglecting my deck or running it through the ringer. It's just small little accidents. It's not like I'm setting it in a coffee ring or anything like that. But my deck is aging, and I've realized that I don't have to baby it too much, although I still, of course, am going to, probably always, because I get nervous about it. But the cards are resilient, and I can be also. The amount of things that this deck has taught me, just with how much we've worked together and the messages that I've been shown, the amount of shadow work that I've done, the amount of comfort that I've gotten from the deck, it's just, I'm getting chills talking about it. This deck is just incredible, and the connection that we have was instant. It was instantaneous, and it is nothing like I've ever experienced with a tarot deck before. So I don't see myself needing to use any other tarot decks. Whenever I want to do a reading, this is the deck I go to. This is the one that I pull out. I don't even think about the other ones, which I do feel sad about, and maybe I will get them, I don't know, to a loving home or something, but I don't know, I just feel fulfilled with this deck, and I don't feel the need to have anything else aside from Oracle, because I feel like that Oracle can expound and expand your readings. And I think that using other tarot decks can too, and I use other tarot decks in combination with this, but if I need a reading, this is the deck I'm going to. There's no other deck for me. This is it. So this is just my appreciation video for this gorgeous deck. I've been using this deck for an entire year. Actually, it's been a year and a month now. Over a year and a month now. And I am just smitten still. I don't see myself getting out of the honeymoon phase with this deck. I think that it's just, this is how our relationship is. Now I'm going to do a quick reading just to ask the deck some things. I want to see, I wrote this down. I want to see how the deck feels about our first year together. And then I also want to ask what the deck sees coming up for the two of us in the year to come. So I'm going to shuffle and then I'll get back to you when I'm done with that. All right, Herbcrafter's Tarot. How do you feel about our first year together? We have the Madre of Earth, the Nine of Fire, and the Ace of Earth. So I think that the deck, this feels very positive. It seems like the deck, I feel like this is like it was a blessing. I was blessed with the deck and the deck was blessed to find me. And we really, I think we've grown a lot together in the first year. And there's so many new things that have happened to the two of us because of, being together. And then what's to come? What is there to look forward to? What are you excited for our next year together? The Queen of Water, the Fool, and the Six of Earth. So this is very much, wow, okay. And the Four of Air is the bottom, which is funny because this is a card that I talked about a lot. So my favorite Queen card. So we're going to really, the connection is going to deepen even more. But it's also, there are going to be new things that we discover in our relationship together. And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be that it feels like an old friend, but also every reading is new and we're going to be doing new things together. And there will be new things and interpretations that I gain from the deck just from using it and stuff like that. And the Six of Earth is like successful. So I think it's going to be a successful year for us and it's going to be something pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. We have had a lot of exciting things together, me and this deck, and I think it's just going to keep on getting better. And I think that the deck agrees. Yeah, so that's all I've got. Yeah, I hope that you are all doing well. I hope that your spring is in full bloom right now and that you're getting more sunshine than rain, even though I think the plants probably need the rain. So that's all. I just wanted to gush about my most beautiful and most favorite and most special deck. And I know that you're not supposed to have favorites, but these are decks. It's tarot, it's cards. It's all subjective anyways. And this is my favorite deck forever. I can confidently say this is my favorite deck forever. Because I know that I'm trying to wrap this video up, but I had looked at this deck and lusted after it since it came out, and only in 2022 did I finally say, okay, it's time to get the deck. And it just feels fated. It feels meant to be, because I wasn't searching for new decks. I kept coming back to this one so many times. And I finally said enough, called my metaphysical shop, and because they had a copy, that's the reason that I have this deck. And it's so special because I did move pretty far away from my original home. So having a deck come with me and make that the biggest change of my life with me and be with me through that is really special. And I feel very, very connected to this deck and just grateful that it came into my life when it did. Are there any decks that you hesitated on getting but just couldn't get out of your head like this one that you ended up buying and it just became a huge staple for you? Or have you not really found a deck like that before? Do you like to bounce around? Do you not believe in having one true deck, one true love deck for you? Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts. I'm always happy to have conversations like that. It's so interesting to me to see other people's opinions and thoughts. So let me know. That's all I've got. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you in the next one.